Welcome to Radiant Reiki with Carol. My name is Carol and this channel is about all things spiritual. Today I'm going to be talking about self-love in your relationships. So I believe, and this is something that Spirit wanted me to talk about today, so I'm doing their work for them, is that relationships prosper, whether they're friendship or romantic, when both people love themselves. This is super important because when you love yourself, you're not going to, when somebody says something offhanded, you're not going to go straight to hurt feelings as much when you love yourself. You accept a little bit more. You're a little bit more tolerant of what people are saying to you. You're going, I wonder why they said that. Instead of, what the hell did they mean by that? Right? So it's a little softer when you love yourself. You're not going to get so defensive right off the bat. So that's the first thing. If both people need to learn to love themselves. See my previous video about self-love. I'll have it on the loop at the end and you can maybe do some of those things. So when your partners are willing to work on themselves and the relationship itself, true love happens. It's magical, right? Each person needs to set their boundaries and stick to them. And each person needs to respect the other person's boundaries, no matter what, right? So I knew someone who had a husband who had a tough childhood. And so he had some weird triggers that he would do and he would say mean things to his wife. But she always forgave him, which is nice. But the problem is she had boundaries, but he would walk all over them every time. And he would say he was sorry, and then he would walk all over him again. And she said, oh, but he had a tough childhood. Well, I'm sorry that you had a tough childhood, but that's not, you don't have to accept bad behavior because somebody had a tough childhood. You can accept bad behavior once in a while as long as it's not going to happen again, right? So that's the important thing about boundaries. You got to stick to them no matter what, and because that's just is going to be respectful on both people's parts, right? And as long as that person with the bad childhood is working on themselves, you can give them a little leeway. So see only the love within your person and yourself. You got to see the love within you as well, right? So when you can love yourself and love the other person, that's going to produce healing, and you're not going to have a lot of anger in that case. You're not going to get your feelings hurt all the time. You're not going to have, things aren't going to get triggered all over the place, right? You're going to be okay with whatever happens. You can maybe talk to them about it, but it's not going to be life altering. So, if seeing the divine in your partner may require looking at them with a different perspective, right? So you got to look for all the good instead of holding out for perfection. They're not doing this, and they're not. Instead of thinking about what they're not doing, think about what they are doing and who they are in their heart, right? So see the divine light. And then that's going to bring in more love and respect because you'll be mirroring each other. Now, here's some ways to bring in a new perspective on your partner. Write down all the things you love about this person and why you chose this person to begin with in the first place. Write down all those things. And then think about back then when you first started with this person, what were you most attracted to? Write all that down. And then think about all the things you said to your friends about this person that you just started a relationship with, whether it be friendship or romantic. Write down all the things. This person's so great because blah, 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 blah. Write down all those things, right? And once you read it over and over and over again, hopefully those warm feelings will come back, and the warm fuzzy feelings. And then, you can look at that person and see their divine light, because we all have the divine light within us, and we all have something to say to the world. We all have something to say because we all have God in us, right? So you wouldn't like shut down God because he didn't take out the trash or whatever, right? So, just remember that partner of yours has God in them, and they may have a message for you. So after those sweet feelings come back, then you can introduce maybe one thing that you'd like that person to work on. And they can introduce one thing they want you to work on. So it's a mutual thing, not just one person to the other. Both of you have something that each of you needs to work on. Just one thing, not more than that. Okay? And then as the week goes by or 2 weeks go by, check in with each other and like, wow, thanks for doing A, or thanks for not doing A, or whatever it is that you ask the person. Notice and thank them and appreciate them. I'm starting to cry. This is so important, is really appreciating your partner for the things they do or don't do, because everybody needs to be seen and heard, right? And especially you want to be seen and heard by your partner. So don't forget to check in with their progress, give them some good positive feedback, and just think of them like a child. You wouldn't, slam a child because they did something wrong, right? Why aren't you doing it this way? Blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to say, thank you for this. And then, you could guide them into another direction if you want. But mostly thanks is good enough, I think. And it'll happen more often because of it, right? So, look for the good in others and in yourself. Super important. Look for the good. Check out my self-love video and look for the good in your partner and yourself, and bring in that love and happiness. In love and light. I'll see you next time.